Chizkiya. Minayin l'chametz Pesach shasur b'hana. How do you know the chametz on Pesach is asur b'hana? So we know it's asur b'bal yirah and it's asur b'achila. You're not allowed to own it. You're not allowed to have it. You're not allowed to eat it. However, there's another isur hana, right? The isur hana would be to not be nana from it, even if it's not yours, even if it belongs to a guy. Or another nafkamina would be on erev Pesach when it's not asur b'bal yirah b'al yamatzeh, but it's already asur b'hana. So how do you know? Pasuk says, doesn't say lo toichal chametz, it says lo ye'achel chametz. So Chizkiya darshans lo yeheba heter achila. There shouldn't be any heter achila. Heter achila meaning not just that you actually eat it, but any heter that might come to achila. So if you get hana, if you sell it and get money for it, so then you can buy with that money food, right? So that's called heter achila. It came to achila. So time in the gas. Okay, so that's how Chizkiya knows that there's Isra Hana on Pesach. So the time because Rachman Le'achal Chametz Halekas of Le'achal Hava Min Isra Achilu Mashma Isra Hana Le'mashma. It's only because the pasuk said Lo Ye'achal, but if it wouldn't have said Lo Ye'achal, it would have said a different lashon which Chizkiya would not have darshan from, right? So then Hava Min Isra Achilu Mashma Isra Hana Le'mashma. Only Isra Achila, not Isra Hana. So Chizkiya's Mashma, right? And this is Chizkiya's going to be Chizkiya's shita throughout the sugya, that if the Torah says something asur b'achila doesn't necessarily mean it's asur b'hana unless we have a specific drasha. And like over here, lo yi'achal, specific drasha to tell you no heter chametz. Okay. Upliga d'Rabavahu.
What's the shita? The shita is what? It says lo yi'achal, or because
his shita is in Kol Torah Kula when it's asur b'achila, it's asur b'achila alone, and it's not asur b'hana, unless there's a special drasha, like over here, lo ye'achel, which implies to us, which we can derive from the lashon lo ye'achel instead of lo ye'achal, lo toichal. It's a more indirect lashon. Lo ye'achel sounds like even indirectly you can't have achila, meaning even Isra Hana is asur. Then and only then, according to Chizkiya, is it going to be also asur b'hana. But if not, it's only asur b'achila, like the Torah says. Chizkiya is seemingly the more pashut shot. That when the Torah says Lei Teichal, it means Lei Teichal and only Lei Teichal. But if you want to have Hana, go ahead and have Hana. So according to Chizkiya, the default when approaching Kol Torah Kul, any Isra Achila, the default will be is that it should be Mutter B'Hana. It's Asr B'Achila, Mutter B'Hana. Yeah?
What does it say by Nevela?
Lei Seichlu Kol Nevela.
So, regular.
It says Lei Seichlu, but then the next words are
Lager,
no, that's by Treifa. Lager Shabisharecha Titinana V'Achala. Right, so, right, exactly. Now, this is Pliga d'Ravo, and that's what we're going to bring in a Vela. Pliga d'Ravo, the Amr Ravo, Ravo says exactly the opposite. Anytime it says a Lashon Achila, no matter what type of Lashon Achila, Echad Yisra Achila, V'Echad Yisra Hana b'mashma. He holds that immediately teaches us an Yisra Achila and an Yisra Hana, until the pasuk specifically teaches you the opposite, that it's mutar b'hana. The default, according to him, is that it's always asur b'hana, unless the Torah teaches you fakert, that it's not asur b'hana. Just like it taught you by nevela. Let's see, the Tanya. Right? Don't need any nevela. What should you do to nevela? Either give it as a present to a ger. A ger, Rashi explains, is a ger toishav, is someone who's mekabel shav mitzvahs b'nei noyach. Or sell it to a non-Jew, non-ger, even stam a guy, right? A guy who's not a ger. So now, first the Brisa discusses ainly a ger b'nesina u'nachri b'mechira. The Torah specifically says right, to a ger titanena you should give it, and to a nachri you should sell it. Nachri b'mechira. The ger b'mechira minayin. How do you know if you're allowed to sell it? The ger b'mechira minayin. How do you know you're allowed to sell it to a ger? And you can sort of read the pasuk by putting a period after machar, right? And so that you could read it as like ger b'sharecha. You can titanena oy machar. Says the Gemara, l'nachri b'nesin. So it's a type of drasha where you could sort of read the pasuk in that way. So l'nachri b'nesin minayin. How do you know that you can give it as a present to the guy? right? You could also start reading the pasuk from Titanena v'achala imachar l'nachri, and you can read that Nesina and Achila, Nesina and Mechira are going both on Nachri, right? So then, Nimtza Sata Omer Echad Ger ve'Echad Nachri bein Mechira bein Nesina de Reb Meir. Reb Meir says, because I can look at the pasuk this way and look at the pasuk that way, that teaches me that both the ger and the nachri, you can sell it or you can give it as a present, right? So according to Rav Meir, it comes out there is no real significance to the fact that it says ger b'nesina and nachri b'mechira. We'll see what the Gemara does with that. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, dvarim kiksav, and he says no, it's mamish like it says lager b'nesina u'lenachri b'mechira. I guess the ger b'nesina is because it's specifically b'nesina. You're not allowed to sell it to a ger. And nachri b'mechira is you're not allowed to give it to a present to a nachri. He says it's mamish dvarim kiksav. Says the Gemara, my time is Rabbi Yehuda. What's the reasoning of Rabbi Yehuda? He says, if you're right, Rav Meir, so then lichter rachmana lager shibsharecha titinena v'achala umachar. Oylamali. Why does it say the word oy? Right, it should put everything together. It should say lager shibsharecha titinena v'achala umachar. Right? Oy lamali, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the eye is there to teach me shmamila the dvarim kiksav, to tell you that no, it separates it, right? If according to Rav Meir, everything is everything, everyone's allowed to do everything, right? So just say nachri and ger, sell it and sell it or give it to a present, give it to him as a present. Why is it separated by oi? Shmamila the dvarim kiksav must be it's only the way it says it. Rav Meir, he says no, oi is lahaktim in sinid the ger the mechira the nachri. Rav Meir says I really hold that you can do whatever you want. But the Torah is telling you which one's better. And it's better to do Nesina de Ger than to Mechila Nachri. Right? Because you want to support the Ger Taishev that's living among you. The Torah feels that's important, right? That precedes, that has precedent over selling it to a guy. Rabbi Yehuda says, that's not enough. I don't need that pasuk. I would not need the pasuk for that. Since there's a pasuk, ger v'tzoshav v'chayimach, right? The pasuk v'chayimach by ger, right? So therefore, and v'nochi yata mitzvah l'chayis, and nochi you're not mechuyev to keep him alive. So therefore, leitzarich kra. Svara, I wouldn't need a pasuk. It's a svara. I would know it on my own. So it can't be that's what the pasuk is teaching me. Just that there's kedima, right? So says Rabbi Yehuda must be. It's more than just kedima. It's an actual din, right? Okay, so we had a discussion between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir how to interpret the verse of Nevela, right? Whether it's b'dafka this, right? B'dafka this way that you're allowed to be, that it's mutar b'hano. According to Rabbi Yehuda, specifically this way it's mutar b'hano. According to Rabbi Meir, no, it's tamazay mutar b'hano. Just the Torah is teaching me a certain din kedima. Fine, very nice, right? So the Gemara says like Rav Meir Damer Echad Ger Echad Nachri Bein Mechir Bein Minesina. According to Rav Meir, who holds that really is totally mutar b'hano Echad Ger Echad Nachri, whether you're doing Mechir Nesina, Miyisr Kol Mishra Nevela b'hano, for the fact that you need a specific pasuk in the Torah, and a specific part of the pasuk to teach you Lager Shibisharecha Disnana V'Achala, right? It needed to tell you that it's mutar b'hano. That means the assumption would be Akol Yishur Shematar Asur and Bein Bachil Bein B'Hana. Right? Because according to Rav Meir, what is this teaching me? According to Rav Meir, this is essentially teaching me a Heter Hana. Right? It's not teaching me anything else because really, it's not teaching me a specific way to have Hana. Right? It's not true because really, at the end of the day, Rav Meir holds any type of Hana as mutar. Right? So from the fact that the Torah teaches me that it's mutar b'hana must be. It's implied in that all other isurim would be aser bein bachil bein b'hana, and if it wanted to tell me that, I would think it's aser b'hana. Elo Rabbi Yehuda, the Amar l'dvarim kiksavan hu de asa. According to Rabbi Yehuda, that says that it is teaching me a specific way to have hana. Hakol isurim shebatar minol d'asurim b'hana. Right? How do you know that everything's aser b'hana? Maybe really it's always mutar b'hana. So why do you have to teach me something over here? Because it wants to tell you that over here you have a specific type of hana that's mutar, not other. Right? But according to Rav Meir, that there's no chiddush happening if everything's mutar b'hana. So what's the point of saying it? Must be, right? because otherwise it would taka be asur b'hana. So that's where. So according to Rav Meir, we have a clear source for Rabbi Vo's shita that in Kol Torah Kula hana is asur. But according to you, the word you know it. The word says nafkali milakelav tashlichun isay. This is a pasuk by Treifa. It says, what's the pasuk? V'anche kodesh tihiyun li b'basar b'sadat Treifa le'sechilu lakelav tashlichun isay. Right. So from the word isay atamashlich lakelav, yatamashlich lakelav. Kol yisurin shebatera. Right. We learn from the pasuk isay. It teaches me that specifically over here we're mater lakelev, right? And you're not allowed to be mashlich l'kol Torah kula. So you see specifically over here you're allowed of hana, but nowhere else. So over Rav Meir, the Gemara says, well, according to Rav Meir,
you don't need that.
Right? You don't need it anyway, because anyway you know that.
Anyway, you know what.
Right now, according to Rav Meir, you don't need the pasuk oisai. Right? According to Rav Meir, what would the default be? The default would be that it's asur b'hana. However, the pasuk says lakelav tashlichun. Why does it have to say lakelav tashlichun oisai? Right? Because the way Rashi sets it up is that if you just said lakelav tashlichun, I would be able to learn out from here to Kol Torah Kula that it's mutar b'hana. Just like by Kelev it's mutar b'hana. So to everywhere it's mutar b'hana. Therefore, according to you need the word oisai to tell you no. Oisai specifically over here it's mutar b'hana, but nowhere else. But according to Rav Meir, there's no need for that because he already knows that from Nevela. Because of the extra pasuk by Nevela, which teaches me it's mutar b'hana, which teaches me, right, that everywhere else is asur b'hana. So there, again, why does Rav Meir need the word oisai? Oisai atamashlich l'kelev yatamashlich l'kelev chulin shnishtu b'azara. So Rav Meir learns out that this, right, only nevela treifa you're allowed to throw to a kelev. You're not allowed to be mashal kelev chulin shenishchtu ba'azara. So that chulin shenishchtu ba'azara, right, is an issue. You're not allowed to shecht chulin in the Beis Hamikdash in the Azara. But is it asur b'hana? Yes, according to Rav Meir, you learn from word oisai that it's asur b'hana also. The idach chulin shenishchtu ba'azara lav deraisa. And Takar Yehuda would hold, who doesn't have the word Isai, he would take a hold that the Isra Hana for Chulin Shishul Azar is not Deraisa at all. Taka, it's only Asur B'Hana Midrabanan. It doesn't have a pasuk. Okay. Maser Bitzuk Nafcha Varagid Danash Rachman Omar Varagid Danash that says. Now the Gemara is going to ask a bunch of kashas to see who's right, Chizkiya or Bavo. Right? What's the default? The default is Mutar B'Hana, it's Asur B'Hana. So the Gemara says Maser Bitzuk Nafcha Varagid Danash Rachman Omar came Leyuch B'Reishos Gidanashe. It says lo yochel, right? The utnan, and it still says in the Mishnah Shalech Adam Yerech Lenocher. A person is allowed to send a yorech, a thigh, right, the back thigh of the animal. The gidanashe b'sachim, the gidanashe b'sachim. Why nation become a nicker? Because everyone can see, any Jew can notice if the gidanashe is there. We're not choishes that a Jew saw you selling it to a guy and would assume, oh, it's kosher because it came from a Jew. And l'chara, he took the gid out also, and now a Jew who buys it from the guy would assume that the gid was taken out. No, and really it's not taken out. He's going to end up eating the gid. No, it's not something we have to be chayshish for because the gid is mekayim nikar. Everyone can know if someone extracted the gid anasha. You have to cut it up, right? So therefore, you're allowed to send it to a guy even though the gid anasha is still there, right? But nevertheless, you see that you're allowed to send it or sell it to a guy, even though the Gidanasha. What you do is you're getting hana from the Gidanasha. Right? So you see it's mutar b'hana, even though the pasuk says lo yarchelu. That sounds like, not like Rabbi Avo. According to Rabbi Avo, it should be asur b'hana. So the Gemara says, kasar Rabbi Avo holds that kishahutu nevela, the same pasuk that's matar nevela b'hana, that you're allowed to give it to a guy, right? It's including everything that's in the nevela. He v'chelba v'gida hutra. Right? It's not only being matter than meat to the nevela, it's also the gidanasha, and it's also the chela. Right? So according to Ravo, the reason why gidanasha is mutar b'hana is because in the pasuk by nevela that's matter hana, right? It includes any part of the nevela. Therefore, even gidanasha. Well, says the Gemara. That makes sense according to the Mandamar that holds that gid hanasha has ta'am enough to give. Meaning it has time. Right. No, the point is if it has tam, so you could call it basar.
Right.
But Ella Lamando Omar ain't begidim nice and tam. There's no tam b'chlal, right? So it's like eights, and the Torah answered the eights, right? So then my kilamim, but you can't call it basar. You can't tell me that when Torah is matter nevel, it's matter that too. So the Gemara says, well, man shamet leidamar ain't begidim nice and tam. Who's the one taker who holds ain't begidim nice and tam? Shimon. So Shimon. Tanya. If you eat gidanasha of a behemoth tmeya, of a chazer or a gamal, right? So if you does mechayev time, he's talking mechayev too. One for gidanasha and one for behemoth tmeya. Right, so he holds on the gidanasha itself. You're chayev even als nevela, als basar behemoth tmeya, right? And also because the gidanasha you're chayev, even though it's a non-kosher animal, still he holds the non-kosher animals. You have the Isser Gidanasha because even Bnei Yaakov for us, it's a famous Mishnah that even Bnei Yaakov he holds Halim Bnei Yaakov Neser Gidanasha, right? Rabbi Shimon Paiter. Rabbi Shimon says you're pater from anything. Why? He says first of all Behemoth Tmeya. First of all Gidanasha doesn't apply to Behemoth Tmeya, right? Only Behemoth Kaira. And second of all, you ate a gid from a Behemoth Tmeya. You ate a Gidanasha is ein v'neisim tam. So therefore, you're not chayiv even though you ate from a non-kosher animal because there's no tam. It's eitz ba'alma. It's just like eating the bone, right? So it's not included in the isser. And so the Gemara says, so basically we're left with the kasha. What are we going to do according to Rabbi Shimon? Right? According to Rabbi Shimon, ein begidim v'nais and tam. Therefore, you can't include it in the heter of nevela b'hana. So it says Shimon Ochanami the Aser Ba'ano Ataka holds Aser Ba'ano the Tanya Gideon Asher Muter Ba'ano to Rabbi Yehuda Shimon Iser. So you see it fits very nicely that according to Rabbi Shimon who holds Ein Gideon Listen Tam he holds Aser Ba'ano. Why? Because according to Ravo the default is Aser Ba'ano unless you have a heter, and according to Rabbi Shimon the heter of Nevel doesn't apply to Gideon Asher. So the Gemara very dam. What about dam? The Iser of eating dam the Rachman Omar. Kol nefesh mikam l'seichal dam utnan elu ve'elu misarvin ba'ama v'yoytz in the Nachal Kidron. It says about the dam kachim. Some of the dam used to be thrown into one of the holes by the mizbeach, other holes in the mizbeach. But at the end, they all come together into a pipe. V'yoytz in the Nachal Kidron to a certain river. V'nim karim laganon, and they're sold to the gardeners, the zevel, right, to fertilize the ground. And there is me'ila, which means if you use it without buying it from the kohanim, from buying it from kachim, from bet kabais, so then you're over me'ila. So, but if you do buy it, it's fine, right? If you pay for it, you pay for the fertilizer, then it's fine. Dam is asur b'achila, right? Forget the kachim aspect. It's asur b'achila, and it's asur b'achila, it's asur b'hana, whether you paid for it or not. Right, so the Gemara says no. Shani dam diskash l'mayim. No, dam is also mutter. Why? Iskash l'mayim. Right, so the Gemara is going to do this now. Is that even though we have l'chayra, it should be asur b'hana, but every time we're going to show you that something's mutter b'hana, the Gemara is going to say yeah, because over here we have a specific drasha. Right, so even though we're maintaining a bavo's klal, or bavo's maintaining his klal, that every time it's asur b'achila, it's automatically asur b'hana, but we're going to show that there's almost each case is an exception, because of a specific pasuk that we learn. So over here, dam is iskash l'mayim. Is hekesh torin. Diksiv lo yisaychel anu al arsish b'chan kamayim. Ma'mayim mutarin av dam mutar. Right. So therefore, it's mutar. So whereas ve'ema kamayim hamisnaschem agamim mizbeach. All it says is kamayim. Right. So maybe it's like mayim that's poured on the mizbeach. The nitzuch ma'mayim that happens on sukkahs, and that's asur b'hana. So how do you know that that's being mater b'hana? So Amar Ravo kamayim. Roiv Maim means most Roiv Maim, and Roiv Maim is mutter b'hana. Well, the Gemara says midi Roiv Maim. See, it doesn't say Roiv Maim. Elam Ravashi kimayim hanishpochim, like kimayim hanisachim. Oh, it says alarz tishpechenu kamayim. So you can add into the drasha nishpach kamayim. Which right? So most maim taka is nishpach, regular maim, but like kimayim hanisachim. Not, it doesn't say like maim that's poured on the mizbeach. It's just spilled, right? Most water that's spilled is not
poured. That's like taking the hair.
Nisuch is a ritual, not just pouring it and not just spilling it.
Yeah, right. But pouring it, I'm doing right.
Okay, I mean,
saying that nishpach
is
not nisa.
Right, nishpach.
Even though the act is the same, but
Oh, it's the same ma'isa, right? Because it's a pouring. Well, one's a ritual to avoid on the mizbeach, and one of them is stam throwing it. Right? That's what nishbach means. Nishbach means thrown on the ground without any reason, right? So nishbachin means, right? So therefore, so dam is iskash to mayim nishbachim, which mayim nishbachim never have an isra hana. Like mayim nisachim, which have an isra hana. Okay. It says, well, ve'im kamayim nishbachim lifnei avodah zara, right? Because that's not nisach. That's just. That is not avodah, right? That's avodah zara. So we can call that just pouring, just spilling, not pouring, spilling. Or says, well, no, hasam nami nisach hikri. Over there, it's also called nisach. Don't think just because it's avodah zara that it doesn't have the shem nisach. It's called nisach. Yishtu yei nesicham, right? The pasuk by yein avodah zara, it says yishtu yei nesicham, right? So you see, even avodah zara is not called nishbach. Even though for us it's just a shvicha b'alma. We don't believe in that avodah. That avodah is totally useless, right? So I would think it's called the shvicha. The Gemara says no, that's called nesicha. Okay. Well, Chizkiah says the Gemara, now according to Chizkiah, who again holds that the default is when it says it's only achila, not asubahana. So now, what does he utilize this drasha of this hekesh between dam and mayim? What's the point according to him? You don't need it because anyway it's mutar b'hana. So how do you know dam kachim is not machshir? Anything mekabel tuma, right? There's no hechsher all day liquid. Dam shenishbach kamayim machshir shenishbach kamayim in a machshir. He saw this a few times, right? Okay, now the Gemara says, right? There's an isser to eat the basar when the nefesh is still in there, right? So that's an isser achila. How do you know you're not allowed to stretch out a cup of wine to a nazir? Right? All these things, they're also wine is also to a nazir. Right? It's an isser of lifnei iver because the guy is mitzvah even in every minachai, halaklavim, but you're allowed to give it to a kelev, halaklavim shari, right? You're allowed to give it to your dog, even though your dog, you're getting hana from it. So you see, you're allowed to have hana from every minachai. It's asur b'achila. The word says shani every minachai the iskash dam. Oh, there's a hekesh to dam. So just like dam is mutar b'anasu every minachai. What's the hekesh? Rak chazak l'v'tiachol adam ki adam ha'nefesh. And then the next pasuk is leis ha'chal ha'nefesh shema basar, right? So there's a hekesh from dam. Well, Chizkiah, the Gemara says. According to him, what's the hekesh for? Anyway, according to him, it's mutar b'hana. The one says dam hu diskash le'ever minachai. No, it's opposite. It's dam is learning from ever minachai. My ever minachai aser, af dam minachai aser. So to dam from a living person is aser. I would think dam from a living person is not like regular dam, right? Only dam after death. That's when the iser is.
Is this from a person, right? or from an animal, or both?
From an animal.
Either one.
We're not talking about humans. Humans is a different story. Maybe that's an Isser essay. Some hold this is the Rabbanon, but by an animal, Rashi says, I would think, in the pasuk of Rak Chazak V'Tichal Adam, the context of that pasuk, it's talking about after you shechted. It says V'Zovachta Mibukarcha, right? Then. After you shecht it, don't eat the dam. But maybe before you shechted it, there's no isser b'chlal. So kamash malan, just like Ever Minachai is also while the animal is still alive, the Ever is also, so too dam Minachai is also. Ve'ezeh, in other words, which dam, this is dam akaza, that's, when you bloodlet, if you bloodlet from the animal while it's still alive, but it's only dam akaza shanefesh yotzei. The Gemara in Krisus has 4 different types of blood that come out while the animal's alive. When you do bloodletting, not all of them are considered dam shanefesh yotzei. Right? We said dam shanefesh yotzei is when the actual life of the animal would leave with the blood. It's a much stronger. It pushes out stronger, right? So it's only that dam that we call dam shanefesh yotzei. Right? That's what would also be also b'shas the animals alive. Okay, that's what the Gemara is saying. It's a dam because it still has to be dam nefesh, right? It's not just any dam. Says the Gemara, right? It says you're not allowed to eat the basar of the shara niskal. Sure, they killed a person. You have to stone it, right? And it says you can't eat Tanya. Right? Right? What do you mean? You have to stone it, right? So do I not know that it's in Nevela? Of course, in Nevela Asura. So why do you have to tell me lo yachol b'achila? Right? Any addition Nevela Asura b'achila? Mal tamer lo yachol. Right? So why do I need? What's to teach me lo yachol? Magil hakastav shim shachta lachar shenig mardina. If someone shechts it before the skila, right? Before it became an Nevela, it's still asur. Only ala b'achila ba'nominayin tamalor b'alashar naki. He's clean. The owner of the shore is clean. What does that mean? My mashma. What is clean? How does clean mean? He's clean from any of his money. He has no money left, right? So the Balashar is Naki. He's clean from all his money because he has no money left because he totally lost any value the animal has. It's not only Asr B'achil, it's even Asr B'hana. He doesn't have any hana. The Gemara says, well, time of the cost of Balashar Naki. It's only because the pasuk says Baal Sharnaki it's Asur B'hana right? So you see what? You see that Israchila doesn't imply Isra Hana. If it does, so then what do you need the pasuk of Baal Sharnaki? So then what do you need Baal Sharnaki? So that is where there's no Israchila. The skin, you're not going to eat the skin, right? So the skin is not Asur B'hana anyway. Not Asur B'achila, therefore I would think it's Mutar B'hana also, right? The Gemara says, I would think the R is mutar, that no, even the R is asur b'hana. Well, the Gemara says, there are some tanaim that use the pasuk for something else. To tell you that a tam is potter from kaifer, right? An animal that's a tam that wasn't muad for goring people, right? So we say that he's potter. He's potter not only from from full kaifer, from paying back the person who died's family, even half kaifer. He's potter. Udmei vladis that you have to pay for the vladis, right? If the shark kills the vladis also, he's chayav, right? So that's what Baal Hashar Naki means according to him, right? That's what Baal Hashar Naki teaches you. So then Hanas Arim Minolahu. So how do you know that you're not allowed to have Hanas from the hide of the animal? Naflumi es besarei satafel besarei. Okay, so he has the word es besarei es besarei is satafel besarei. The idach es leidarish. The other one, right? He doesn't need. What does he do with es? He doesn't darshan es. Okay, we'll stop here. Imam Shech after Shachar. Okay, we'll Imam Shech tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Shkoya.